Let's talk about the upcoming Viking free agents. All right, welcome back to the Onebar and Lupagus show. I'm Onebar with Lupagus. Season's over, makes us sad, but we got to start looking to the off season, which includes a hefty list of upcoming Viking free agents. Don't ever look at anybody like that again. It's horrifying.
Who will be back? Who do we want back? Do you want any of these guys back? Will any of these guys even play football again? We're going to answer all those questions here in this video that's brought to you by That's Badass Wood Art. Hit them up on Twitter and drop hashtag badass in the comment. Some fantastic products. Vikings, pop culture, whatever you want. They make it, and it is hard.
It is hard. It's wood. Here's a couple things that we'll be giving away in the future. Beautiful bottle opener, some nice skull wall art there. And like Lupagus said, plenty more. So hit that up. And also hit that sub button. We're getting the 9,000 quick. If you're watching this, you hit that sub button. Bing, 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 bing.
Just touch it. Flick it. Whatever makes you feel best.
Flick it. Whatever you want. But just make sure you hit it. All right. So let's just take a brief overview of all the free agents. And just to be very honest, this is the third time we've done this video because we keep leaving people out.
You gave it away. You gave it away.
I was debating, but you know what? We got to be honest. So here it is. Here's the list. As you can see, Dalvin Tomlinson looks a little bit goofy because I jammed him in there.
Yeah, I mean, so this is what we call a nice mix. You got some role players, you got some young guys who maybe have been hurt, and you also got some guys who are starters on this team, all mixed in what we like to call a bag of mixed nuts.
A bag of mixed nuts. And as any bag of mixed nuts, some of those nuts are gross. Some of them are delicious. You're just picking through them. You got to have that cashew. It's so good.
I'm more of an almond guy myself.
Yeah, anyways. I mean, looking at this, I think we can both agree that while there are some bigger names, there's not that guy that's going to keep us up at night just waiting, refreshing. Did he resign? Did he resign? Oh my God, did he resign? Ah!
Like we'll be doing with the Justin Jefferson when they actually start talking contract. That's something we'll be watching. Nothing like that on this one.
No, but there's some big names. So like Lupagus said, we broke it down. Players we'd love to have back. Players would nice to be have back. And ones that are just, get out of here.
Get the hell out of here.
Let's start off with a little love. We'd love to have these guys back. No particular order, by the way. No order.
Yeah, and you look at all these guys we'd love to have. Which ones can we actually afford? Which ones are realistic? Which ones aren't? But you look at Patrick Peterson. He's 32 years old, but still playing at a high level. You keep toting he was their best corner last year, and he wants to be back. He flat out said, Minnesota is my home. So maybe you get him at a fairly decent price. He's going to be 33 years old. 33 years old, and I don't keep toting it. PFF, I mean, he is one of the top-ranked corners, and he's on our team. He just happens to be an old PP. Nobody expected this. This was his best year he's had in probably 3 or 4 years. So he did have his moments, but every cornerback does. I want him back. I would love to have him back, and he's older, so it's going to be cheaper. Do people not expect old PPs to work? Is that what happens?
You know what? I've heard through the grapevine. So Patrick Peterson, the feeling is mutual. Something tells me he will be back for another 1-year deal. Yeah,
Garrett Bradbury's interesting. You want a guy who a year ago, I would have said, get him the hell off this team. Wow, cut him. He ain't even going to make it. But shockingly, he actually played very well. He's 27 years old. He came in the league as an old man. Still a little bit suspect when it comes to pass blocking. He will get beat as he's shown plenty of times this year, but he's so damn good in run blocking, and his overall game improved this year. So Garrett Bradbury, bring him back. Maybe he tests the market, doesn't get what he wants out there. Maybe he come back at a 1-year prove-it deal. Who knows?
Wow. And with Bradbury, it all comes down to his price. I mean, he's projected to make anywhere from $9 to $11 million next year, which is a pretty good price. But on the other side of things, we got Ed Ingram on one side. I mean, it's nice to have a guy that is, he's proven to be good. Hopefully it wasn't a fluke, but what are we going to do? Start from scratch? There's no big free agent center out there. So that's why I want Garrett Bradbury to come back for like a 3-year contract.
On the other side of that is, we only have about 4 draft picks, so you don't want to use one of your first 2 draft picks on a center. That's the most unsexy thing that could potentially happen.
There is a good center from the Gophers. Good center from the Gophers coming out though. But we don't want to. Let's just get Bradbury back here. All right.
Yeah. He wants him back. He said he wants him back. He loves it.
He's old. This is his payday. He's going to be out there for a while. He's going to be picky. But maybe nobody wants him. Maybe we're the only crazy ones out there. So next up, Nick Mullins, the man we actually traded a draft pick for, our backup, the heart and soul of this squad.
Big Dick Nick. I think we want him back. He's just the perfect backup. He's mobile. He throws a decent ball. He's fiery. He's a competitor. He's a guy who can come off the bench and he won't lose you a game. And I think he'll make enough plays to win it. Nick Mullins, I think we all want him back.
He might lose you a game, but you know what? He is the backup quarterback that we like. Hopefully we add a youngster, whether that's late in the draft, undrafted free agent, whatever. We got to have somebody in the mix. But Nick Mullins, bring him back. Let's go to the Big Daddy. Big Daddy in the middle, Dalvin Tomlinson, 28 years old. His stats aren't sexy. He isn't out there just absolutely lighting it up, but he had a damn good season. He's been a great addition.
When he came back from injury, I'd say he's the best defensive player on this team, which isn't saying much when we look at this group from top to bottom, but he played lights out. He's been very, very steady. I want him back. The question is, can we afford him? That's what I worry about. He's 28 years old, so he's got one more contract in him. I think he may get some good money offer from a team that has a lot of cap space and may be priced out of the Vikings range.
Yeah, and Ed Donato, as of now, is still our defensive coordinator. What type of defense we play? I mean, does he fit this scheme, whatever? But if he's gone, our defensive line already needs some serious help. So that would be a huge, huge blow. What else would be a huge blow in losing your long snapper?
I mean,
all-pro.
What's the average life of a long snapper? He's 35 years old. I would assume they could snap until they're about 48. He does one thing. He does it damn well. He snaps that ball between his legs, just skimming the ball sack, going right to to the holder. And he's an all-pro. He's a freaking all-pro long snapper. Andrew DuPaola, well done. Let's give him $1,036,000 next year.
Deserves it. I think everybody expects him back. The next one is kind of the sexier fan favorite free agent out there, and that is the little guy, Duke effing Shelley. Duke Shelley, like Patrick Peterson, was rated in the top part of those cornerbacks at only 5'8", and man, was this guy huge down the stretch, and not size-wise.
It's funny you say he's huge, but his play was huge. This guy makes plays on the ball. He knows how to go up there at the right time, get his arm up there. He's fiery. He'll tackle. He'll hit. He's one of the few defensive players who showed some damn life out there, who showed some passion. I think we all want Duke Shelley back. His role is the question. Will he be a starter? Will he be a backup? I don't care. Bring him back. We'll figure that shit out later. Duke Shelley needs to be back on this team. What a find by Kwesi.
What a find. And yeah, he's a perfect guy. He's great depth, a guy that will see the field every week. Is he necessarily going to be a starter? We'll see. Probably not, but I want him out there. I want him out there often. Everybody giving Kwesi shit about their draft. You look at Duke Shelley. That guy can find diamonds in the rough. Speaking of diamonds in the rough, Let's go to the next man, Tonga.
Tonga. Yeah, I mean, he's the ERFA, means restricted free agent. And yeah, so why would you not resign this guy? Didn't have a huge role in this team, but when he was out there, he made some plays, good against the run, provided some pressure, got that big old mid up there swatting passes. Tonga makes things happen, and he's one guy on this defense I want not just back, but I want to see more of next year.
Yeah, and the exclusive free agent is basically if we offer him a contract, he has to take it. It's not erect. And he was out there quite a bit. And I mean, is he a starter? I don't know. But depth-wise, love it. Love it. Cheap.
Absolutely.
Good.
Absolutely.
Hungry. All right, those are the guys we would love to have back. Here are the nice-to-haves. The nice-to-haves. Your Christmas list where it's just kind of in the middle. Like, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, let's start with Austin Schlottman, the backup center. We weren't sure he was going to make the team. He did. Took over that backup center role, and when he was inserted into the lineup, he played well. We saw how key he was when he went out in the Packers game. The offense completely fell apart for a quarter and a half. Finally, Chris Reed got his bearings, and things kind of, they weren't as bad. But
pretty bad.
Good backup center. You bring back Bradbury, bring back Schlottman too.
Yeah, I think this is just a package deal. Bring them both back. Schlottman is not coming back. Could you imagine if we lost Bradbury and they brought Schlottman back to start or something? Not to go down a gross road, but Schlottman deserves to be a backup. He's a fine backup. Enough about him. Let's go to Oli freaking Udoh, the guy who showed up big for the Vikings at right tackle at the end of the season. And by big, I mean surprised us that he wasn't a disaster. Actually played fairly well.
Kwesi found some gems out there on the scrap heap, and we had a gem sitting on our roster apparently because right tackle appears to be the position for Oli Udoh. He played damn well. We've given him shit so much. When he was left tackle, he was horrible. Look, inside, he was bad at either guard spot. But I've said this the last two times we did this video. He's the guy I think gets the Mason Cole deal, the deal that surprises you. Like, holy shit, the team offered him what? And you brought it up before, the versatility. This guy can play all across the line, but I do think right tackle is his home. Teams have seen that. A lot of teams need a right tackle out there. He's not going to get huge money, but I think he'll get more than the Vikings can afford to give him to come back.
Not only that, but he's probably going to get the opportunity to start somewhere, or at least push for it. And here we got Brian O'Neill, Darrisaw. Obviously, he is not going to be starting here. So if he resigned, it would be for depth. And Udo, he made himself some money. There's some teams out there with very, very shitty right tackles, and Udo would actually be an improvement. So I think he's gone. He's going to make a little bit of money and get a chance to start. So Ole Udo, we wish you well, man.
Yeah, well done, Udo.
All right, the last one is Ben Ellefson. And I guess the only reason I put him on here is depth. I mean, we're gonna need some blockers. We got Nick Muse, who's more of a pass catching tight end. We got TJ Hawkinson, clearly our starter. Irv's gone. So Ellefson's just that guy that just hangs out at the bottom of the depth chart that rarely sees the field.
Let's got Johnny freaking Munt. So I think the best thing about bringing Ben Ellefson back is just not having to use a draft pick at the tight end position, which I wanted to do prior to the TJ Hawkinson trade. Now you have 4 or 5 draft picks. Tight end, you don't need another tight end there. So you can bring Ben Ellefson back. He can be your blocking tight end. Don't have to use that on a draft pick.
Yeah. Nothing against Ben Ellefson. I'm sure he's fantastic, but there's probably a lot of Ben Ellefsons out there to be had if we actually needed to get one. So
there's 3 in town.
There is. I know exactly who you're talking about. Let's go to the guys that are gonzo.
Yeah. Okay, let's start with Greg Joseph because, if you go and you don't sign him early in free agency, I don't think anybody's going to go out there and give Greg Joseph a contract. You let this guy sit around. Maybe it gets to be after the draft. You drafted a kicker at some point, or you sign one in free agency. Then you maybe look to bring in Greg Joseph, have a camp battle, see who wins. But this guy's just too shaky to go for. But then again, you look at what Brett Maher did last night against the Bucs, missing 4 extra points. Maybe we got ourselves a true gem here in Greg Joseph.
Yeah, I was going to say he could be a Cowboy next year, but Joseph, he's most likely gone, but honestly, is he really most likely gone? We don't know. I mean, they had a chance to get rid of him during the season. Never really went that route. So maybe they like this guy. I don't know. It's a mystery. I like your idea. Nobody's going to go snap this guy up. Let him hang around a while. Let's see what we get. I like the idea of bringing in 2 fresh kickers and let the winner win, but we will see.
And KOC endorsed this guy. He stood behind him. He backed him up when he struggled. When everybody's calling for the kicker's head, KOC got his back. So maybe they're just really good friends.
I was kind of on the Greg Joseph train most of the season. I mean, I kind of stuck up for him. I think he's better than I don't know. You don't know what you got till it's gone. Better than shit.
Great song. Cinderella.
All right. Other than that, speaking of that, let's go to Chandon Sullivan, the guy that I had high hopes for to throw right in the slot. And, it was pretty bad.
Yeah, he just way too many bad plays. Yeah, he had 2 touchdowns taken away against Indy. But you mentioned about Ben Ellefson. There's a ton of Ben Ellefsons out there. I think there's a bunch of Chandon Sullivans out there. You can get a guy who can play nickel corner and not play it very well. And maybe you just have that guy in your roster already that you can try. Maybe a Caleb Evans ends up there. Maybe Andrew Booth Jr.'s future there. We don't know. But Chandon Sullivan's future is not here.
Yeah, I think the Vikings took a little bit of a swing here trying to get the Chandon Sullivan of 2 years ago, or is ripping up for the Packers. Didn't happen. And that's it. Let's go to Irv. Let's go to Irv Smith, the man who needs a fresh start.
He needs a fresh start. Just here, it didn't work out. He couldn't stay healthy. Couldn't stay on the field. He showed flashes. He gave us hope. And then he was hurt again. Just could never put together a healthy season. So Irv Smith Jr., we were all waiting for him to break out. But I think that breakout year, if it does come, it will definitely be with a different team.
He's the perfect guy for a 1-year prove-it deal. Some team out there where he can just go light it up. Because if he puts it all together, stays healthy, we know he's good. As mad as I was when he dropped that pass, you just got to feel bad for the guy. So much potential. When we drafted him, we were both so damn excited.
I think I'm going to remove my top.
Yeah, if your top is your bottom. We saw everything when that pick was made. Speaking of gone, Lupagus' favorite Viking of all time, Jonathan Bullard.
I'm sorry. I just saw his effort. I don't know if it was Jones running, if it was Barkley. He wasn't that far. He was maybe 8 to 10 yards away. He just kind of gingerly jogged. Someone call it even a saunter after him. No effort. Jonathan Bullard, get that shit off this team. This defense has too many of those guys, so I just don't feel they're putting forth the full effort, and Bullard really slacked ass on that one.
I think I've mentioned this before, but please don't say saunter. It makes me uncomfortable.
Saunter.
Oh, it's not bad. Yeah, Bullard. It was we signed a handful of these defensive linemen. We traded for Ross Blacklock. It's just our defensive line isn't great, and Jonathan Bullard's kind of part of the reason. He did have some moments. He had moments.
He did. And, the fact he even made this team is an accomplishment in itself. So good for you, Jonathan, doing that. And, I think he's better fit in a 3-4. Are we going to have a 3-4 going forward? I don't know. We don't know that right now. Hopefully, Ed Donatel's gone. So if it is a 3-4, it's a new coach.
All right, let's go to the man who probably will make the most money off this list. And that is Alexander Madison. Gone. Why is he gone, Lupagus?
He's gone because he wants to be a starter. He wants to be a starter
Deserves
somewhere. He does deserve it, and the Vikings just didn't use him. And he got the shaft time and time again. He got 0 touches against the Giants, 0 touches after running for 2 touchdowns against the Bears, running hard. This guy's got a nose for the end zone. He can catch the ball. He'll twerk and shit when he scores. He's a lot of fun. I think this guy wants to be a starter somewhere, or at least have a real shot at even getting used. We just didn't use him, and he's a talented back.
Yeah, still young. He's going to go somewhere, be a number 1, and rip shit up because he's proven when he gets a chance, he does very, very well. It's going to be interesting to see what the Vikings do at running back this year with Dalvin Cook. I mean, I don't think he's coming back. Maybe if he goes, maybe they actually do bring Madison back, but we'll see. Running backs are not making what they used to.
They're not. But again, Madison may just be scorned with this team and want a fresh start too.
Well, we do not know. We will see.
We don't.
Cornerback Chris Boyd, 26 years old, our special team stud.
But I think the key word there is cornerback, and you just said it, cornerback. That's why he'll be gone.
Yeah, Chris Boyd, I think he wants his shot to play corner. I think he thinks he can be a very good corner in this league. Even when our defense was completely injury-riddled at corner, he never really even got out there.
I think that's when they brought in Duke Shelley. They said, no, we don't want you playing. We're going to get this 5'6" guy who's sitting up here on the scrap heap to play over you.
That's 5'8". Show some respect. So Chris Boyd, again, another guy, we wish him well, but I think this isn't the fact that the Vikings don't want to bring him back. Chris Boyd wants to play corner.
And the dude's great. He's a fun guy in the locker room. I think he's probably got a career in broadcasting after his NFL career is over. He's definitely a lot of fun. So I'm sure he'll be well missed by his teammates. But if he wants to play corner, it ain't going to be here.
When the hell were you in the Vikings locker room hanging out with Chris Boyd?
Why was he up social media? He's crazy.
I know. I'm just giving shit. All right, last one. BC Johnson tore his ACL, still only 26 years old, which I still cannot get over. It seems like he should be about 37, but coming off another tough injury. Yeah.
I actually sauntered into the Vikings locker room.
I bet you did, and I bet they told you to leave immediately.
BC Johnson, yeah, a guy, it's what he's had 2 major injuries in his short career. His first year, he showed some really good hands. Those hands weren't as reliable this year 2. I know I felt like Kevin O'Connell liked him coming out here, but again, injuries sidelined him. I just don't see that there's a spot for him on this team. I think he needs a fresh start. I don't think his NFL career is over yet. He'll get one more shot at least, but he's got to stay healthy if he's going to stick in this league.
Yeah, BC. It's a great draft pick. Instant playmaker out there. So that is our list. Let us know in the comments below which one of these guys you want back. Who's on your love list, hate list, gonzo list? Let us know. Make sure hit that sub button.
Yeah, why wouldn't you? Remember this? There was a study done. I think it was in Sweden or something where they had rats and they just played straight no music. They were happy, but when they played jazz and they gave them cocaine, they went nuts.